regional manager for GoodData. GoodData is in the business data monetization business. So what does that mean? It means we do analytics and business intelligence in the cloud. And we do it typically a lot faster and a lot cheaper than folks can do it themselves. So a little bit about the company. What we do is we monetize data, and we help people understand data from lots of different sources and help them make business decisions upon that. How is my sales team functioning? How effective is my digital marketing? What's really driving the needle for my business? That's about half of our business, people measuring their company. The other half of our business is other software as a service providers. Like SED1, for example, let's say you guys decided we don't want to tackle analytics ourselves because it's a pain and it's not our core competency. We can white label our analytics directly into other service providers' products, and that's about half of our business. It's actually a little bit over half of our business. Our target markets are large, medium to large enterprise, as well as SaaS application vendors like I talked about, as well as systems integrators. We've been around since 2007. We're venture-backed. Some of our main backers are Andreessen Horowitz out in Silicon Valley, where we're headquartered, as well as General Catalyst, which is over in Boston. We have 6,000 customers to date. We're actually at about 200 employees worldwide. Headquarters is San Francisco. All of our development actually happens over in the Czech Republic. That's where our founder is from. He founded NetBeans, for any of you Java developers out there. He founded that, sold that to Sun. He's also founded another company called SystemNet, which is sold to HP. To date, we've raised about $55 million in venture capital. So that's the company snapshot. What do we do? What's driving this? We heard a lot of these trends tonight. Cloud computing. The fact that cloud computing is making computing and storage and all that much cheaper. That's a trend. Another is social collaboration. Another is big data. You guys are hearing that term all the time. What does that really mean? APIs. Everything has an API. Pulling together lots of data and democratizing data so that I can look at internal data, the cloud-based data, and then really mobile reach. And really, I think one of the things that's unique to us and really where we have a strength is why can't your business data be as usable and interactive as your personal data? Anybody in here use the mint.com app for your iPhone to manage your personal finances? Does anybody have anything remotely similar looking to that to manage your business finances or your marketing or those kinds of things? That's really one of GoodData's strength is we manage all of the technical hard stuff about building data warehouses, building the storage, building out the reports and dashboards, and then we put it out in an interface that's very much like mint.com or LinkedIn or PowerPoint, not a hardcore power user statistical tool. So there's two ways that we go to market that I mentioned. One is companies using us internally to measure things. So we have this concept of a bash, which is a business mashup. So these are pre-built on-Rails tools that within 2 weeks can give you very nice, very slick-looking reporting that helps you understand what's driving the needle for your business. Those include good subscription, good marketing, good sales. You're going to see some of those in a minute here. But literally, once we have a new partner, let's say you're a Salesforce customer or a NetSuite customer or a Siebel customer, we can give you very good insight into your sales pipeline, completely up and running in 2 weeks. If you think about traditional, analytics, data warehousing, a lot of people hear that term, they kind of cringe because it's tough. It takes like 18 months and a couple $1 million and a lot of people. What we're doing is taking that and doing that in the cloud for you. So our customers can focus on their business challenges and not worry about having to stand up a data warehouse and that infrastructure. On top of that, we embed and completely OEM or white label our solution into other partners. And it's not just technology, we're people, process, and technology. So any of these tools, like we're seeing some of our existing powered by customers here, which are OEM customers, Demandware, Blink Media, and Pardot, they actually partner with us and are using GoodData to power their analytics that they then push that back out to their customers. And they're using their developers to focus on their core competency. There's a little bit of a trend here. Blink Media is a local customer of ours here in New York. They do Facebook display advertising. They work with agencies and brands. They actually just got bought by Dennett Digital a couple months back. Pardot is another customer of ours. They do email marketing automation. They were just bought by ExactTarget last week. As far as I know, Demandware is still its own company. We like to think that GoodData is powering a lot of that success and growth. So now I'm going to jump into a demo of the product. So I talked about those bashes or business mashups. One of these is good sales. So I know we have some of our friends from Salesforce in the room here tonight. Really what this tool is used is to augment the existing reporting that might be available in something like a Salesforce or a Siebel Analytics. This is a completely cloud-based multi-tenant solution. So what that means is, one, it's hosted. You don't worry about the infrastructure. And two, across all 6,000 of our customers, we actually drop new releases every 2 weeks, and that's moving to every week. Compare that to maybe the business objects you might have on your internal finance site. They might release that software once a year. You guys might update it every 2 years. So there's tremendous innovation and trajectory. Within the product itself, if you look at the UI, it's broken down into a series of dashboards. And typically these dashboards will follow kind of an information flow or a story. So this is an outlook overall. How am I doing against my sales target? How am I doing against my quota? There's lots of ways to visualize this data from charts and graphs. It's very interactive. It's also drillable. And this is all dynamic. By default, we're going to update all this information daily. We can update it more frequently than that if you like. It can also be filterable. So if I wanted to only see this for a specific sales rep, I could choose a rep, and all these numbers would be then filtered and adjusted down. We can also look at information like what's changed. So again, when you look at this UI, this is going to look more akin to a PowerPoint or something like that, not so much like a statistical tool. And then we can really lay out this data in any way you so choose. This is one of our bashes that, because we built this so quickly, we can have this out and literally map this to your data in a couple of weeks. And then we could drill on this. So there's $3.1 million worth of wins. I could drill into that and start sorting that, rank ordering that by amount, and see maybe who's my rock star thus far. And it looks like it's Paul Gomez who won a deal at Telescope. So this is our sales analytics tool. Lots of different capabilities here. Everything that we do is JavaScript and HTML, so it's going to render great on a Mac, on a PC, or the same way on an iPad, and we can also push all this information out so it could be scheduled and delivered as an email. And we can do that as a PDF or an HTML email. So that's good sales. Also wanted to show you our good marketing bash. So good marketing, these two kind of go together, but how are my marketing activities actually leading in my sales activities? What's generating marketing qualified leads? What are my lead sources, be that contact us, email marketing, etc. Lots of different ways to look at this marketing information. And this is really just kind of a starter project. If our customers wanted to customize this to the way that they run their marketing organization, this can all be completely expanded upon and customized for their needs. So this is an example of customers who are using us internally to measure things via these bashes. If there's something outside of that, like probably the most common use case that we have for internal customers is, how effective is my digital marketing? Well, to answer that question, it cuts digital media, social analytics, social media, display advertising, web analytics, Salesforce. So when I put out this email marketing blast, when do those people show up on my website? And when do they actually convert in Salesforce? And when do they actually convert in my Demandware e-commerce platform? That's a really hard problem to solve. And to solve that problem, you have to integrate all that data. We do that for you as a service, and I'll let you focus on the UI and the interfaces like that. So looking at the other side of our business, everything that we do can be completely white labeled, and we actually give you that code out of the box. So we give you this iframe code. So this could be embedded into your product, and this creative at the top would go away. It would be your logo. We'll give you access to the style sheets. We can also integrate with any single sign-on information that you might have. So in this case, this is a dashboard that we did for one of our customers, an agency, and they were doing that use case I just talked about, looking at different ad and social media metrics, campaigns, ROI. So we're laying out that data in lots of different ways. This one is pretty impactful. Looking at my Facebook and my YouTube and my Twitter, we can do the traditional things that maybe a social media monitoring tool can do, but where's the so what? Where's the money associated with that? By tying together additional data sources, we can look at how that is actually driving channel output, for example. We can see which of those channels that are actually driving across the different social media, how's that actually impacting my sales. So these are pre-built dashboards. The way that you lay these out is pretty simple. Everything that we do is completely web-based, so it's all drag and drop, but these are actually real live reports. So that's how you lay them out. But let me show you the process of how you create a dashboard from scratch. So to do that, I'm going to click on my reports button and click create report. So when you think about analytics analysis, how do people typically analyze their data now? We have all these fancy data warehouses that we spent millions of dollars on. It's still a PowerPoint deck that you get from your agency, or the executive understands PowerPoint. How do the people under that executive actually get that data and do the analysis? Excel. So this is kind of a Excel pivot table in the cloud, if you will. So to build that analysis, there's two questions we answer in GoodData. What numbers do you want to look at? So these are the data sets that I have here. So this is a logical data model that we built. So I might want to look at my campaigns, and I'll say, show me my average campaign spend, and then show me the number of opportunities that were created out of that. So when I hit done, that's going to go out, and that's going to query this data warehouse that we store for you in the cloud, that single version of the truth, and gives you that cross tab. It's kind of boring because there's not much there. So what I can do is I can break that down. So now I want to break it down by how, which is a categorical variable. So I might want to break that down by campaign type. So now, it's starting to get a little bit more interesting. I can see of the different digital media campaigns that I had, display, Facebook, TV, social media, what was my spend, and what was my average, or what was the number of opportunities. So if I sort this by number of opportunities, looks like in this case social's the winner, and TV not so much. So by default we're giving you this view, but you'll notice these little buttons up here across the top. These are different ways that you can visualize that data and make it a little bit more impactful. So now we can quickly put that into a stacked area chart, do some things to maybe beautify it a little bit, give it some labels, do some line smoothing, etc. So now that's going to update that. We can do things like embed this, so we're going to give you the code to embed this into any other web-based platform. We can export it to Excel or CSV or PNG, etc. Now I'm going to just hit the create button and give it a name. So that's how you create a report. And you create a dashboard by stacking these different reports together.
That's interesting.
So you see this little gear icon up here.
Here you go.
I'm going to hit edit. And we're really focused on the enterprise space. We don't sell directly to the consumer. So we thought this was very appropriate for the meeting tonight. So I pre-built that report, but it's very similar to the one that we just created. It's actually exactly the same. So now it just dragged and dropped that report in here, and this is all very much, if folks have PowerPoint skills, people understand the data, they don't have to worry about the underlying database or queries or any of that stuff. We manage all that for you. So in the span of a couple of minutes, I can create a nice looking dashboard across a variety of different sources. I can also embed other web content. So in this case, if I wanted to embed, say, YouTube video or Twitter feed or anything like that, I have that capability. So what a lot of our partners have determined is this is powerful, this is easy, and this is a lot cheaper and a lot less painful than us trying to do this ourselves, because we've done it before and it's been challenging. And typically our partners have seen they derive between 20 to 30% additional revenue by having this type of advanced analytics embedded into their product. So that was it. Over the span of a couple minutes, I created a nice looking dashboard here. Again, this could all be white labeled and could be completely embedded into your product. On top of the technology, we will also train your teams on how to sell it and demo it, and we'll also train you on how to be the frontline support. So if you did want to completely white label it, you can. On the other hand, we have some customers like Zendesk who co-market with us. Zendesk actually rolls this out to 3,000 of their customers, and it's now it's part of their premium offering, and they're really what they see the value of GoodData is. Before they were spending money on analytics and it was a cost center. Now it's a profit center because people are paying more, they're getting more out of their Zendesk, and they're paying more for the subscription, specifically because they like these analytics. So I want to be respectful of time. That is 15 minutes on the dot.
That's good.
What questions do you all have?
So oftentimes with a lot of these kind of solutions, the real challenge ends up being not so much the presentation layer, as much as it's on data ingestion, getting the right data in, deduping it, really making sure that things work properly.
Sure.
What do you guys do on the front in order to make not just the data presentation good, but the data ingestion work neatly?
Sure, and maybe I didn't make that clear. So we're not just a data visualization tool. This is a software service that lives in the cloud, but we also handle all of the ETL, extract, transform, load, and data management for you. So literally, we work with our customers and say, what do you want to see? What are you trying to measure? What data do you have? We will do everything in between. So there is a full back-end ETL tool that we use ourselves to create all this for you. Or if you wanted to do this yourselves, there is an ETL and data management tool that will allow you to say, talking to the use case I had earlier, I want to cross-reference Omniture and Salesforce and Marketo. We have a tool that can do that for you, and we have pre-built connectors to lots of cloud-based data sources.
What's the latency on that? Data ingestion?
Typically, our baseline is daily, but we can do it more frequently than that.
Same question on the data modeling. So you said you do your data management, data warehousing in the cloud on your own. So who does the data modeling? And you also mentioned the single version of truth. Who defines these rules and how much time it takes? Because in my experience, I've seen to define a data model, to define those rules to create single version of truth, it's going to take 3 to 6 months. What is the typical period?
Yeah, sure. So we have we typically deploy these projects anywhere from 2 weeks to 16 weeks, so 2 weeks to 4 months. And we have a team of folks that will do that for you. We don't make our money in professional services. We take the kind of teach our customers how to fish and then get out of your hair approach. Or if you want to do it completely on your own, you can do that. It's a very well documented API and all that. To your question about the data governance and that stuff,
data modeling.
Data modeling. We will do the data modeling for you in terms of what you guys are defining as a customer. We can share those best practices with you, but that's a little bit of kind of your own internal business rules.
Yep.
But once you have those business rules, once you know what data you have and what you want to measure, we will literally do everything in between. Or if you wanted to do it in self-service fashion, you can absolutely do that. About a third of our customers do it that way.
I see you have 6,000 customers, which is a large number for an enterprise software company. Usually, after 6 years, you have more like 1,500.
Sure.
So, but I see you have an app on the Salesforce App Exchange.
Correct. Yep.
So is that where the bulk of the 6,000 comes from, or the App Exchange?
So our customers are a combination of folks that use us directly, like Time Warner Cable uses us on top of Salesforce. They have, I think, 4,000 Salesforce reps that they measure in GoodData every day, so that's one customer. The other half of our customers are powered by our OEM customers. Zendesk is one of those. Zendesk has 3,000 of their customers that are using GoodData. So that's, when we say 6,000, that includes all of the customers of our OEM partners. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do we work with unstructured data sets as well, or just?
We do. We have some, for example, we have a customer that works in survey data, so we can help them. We help them with that and put it into a structured format. But we're not going to work in completely unstructured data. At the end of the day, we really need to put it into a star schema without getting too technical. But if your data source is unstructured, we can work with you on ways to get that into our platform so that it is reportable, and adding some counts and reporting on top of that.
Can you talk about the technology you use to get that single version of truth? Like what database do you use? And
Sure. So the short answer is it doesn't matter, because we shouldn't have to worry about it because it's software as a service. The long answer is we're built on top of AWS or Rackspace, depending on the scenario that you choose. Yeah, the UI here is all our own internal IP, and it's all JavaScript and HTML. The underlying data structure, it used to be MySQL. We've recently moved to Postgres, and there's a middle kind of secret sauce layer that allows us to basically change the underlying data model without impacting the UI. So it's kind of purpose-built, so in the future, if the underlying data sources change, or if we wanted to move to MongoDB or something, whatever the next cool thing is, we have to work with. And we're really purpose-built to be an elastic cloud application. So we can scale from 10 customers to 1,000 customers at the flip of the switch versus our customers having to pre-buy hardware and plan for all that growth ahead of time.
One more.
What's the main obstacle for not having more real-time
access to say, social networks by nature are kind of real time?
Sure. So we can do real time or near real time, and for some customers like in the e-commerce world, we do that. So hourly updates, and there's no technical limitation. So at the end of the day, we basically charge our customers like the electric company, based on usage, and then we have some things that are proxies for that. In our OEM model, it's basically how many customers you roll it out to. In our internal model, it's how many users you have and how much data you have. So it's a cost driver because it's a ton of data for us to ingest and store. It's a cost driver, but from a technical perspective, there isn't necessarily a limitation. Thanks, John. Thanks.